Hello and welcome to my segment of this year's Make Food Not Waste event. My name is Dr. Diane Kress. I am an associate professor in the Department of Nutrition and Food Science at Wayne State University. I am also a registered dietitian and have been for over 30 years. So my segment this year is on what you can do on a personal level in your home to reduce the amount of food that you throw away. You might be surprised at how many truly simple things there are you can do, and most of them are pretty common sense. So we will talk about reading food labels, we'll talk about detecting and sensing the quality of the food using your eyes and your nose, and we'll also talk about how to evaluate whether eggs have gone bad. All right, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you. 40% of all food that is grown is wasted, and that food waste doesn't just waste food, it wastes all the resources used to grow and transport that food. Further, we throw away 60 billion pounds of food while nearly 50 million Americans live in food insecure households. And in Michigan, that number is that 1 in 5 are hungry. Finally, it is the most landfilled material, more than plastic, more than paper, more than cardboard, and contributes significantly to climate change. This matters because food that sits in a landfill generates a huge amount of greenhouse gases. Let's look at this question from Wasted, the story of food waste. How long will it take one head of lettuce to degrade in a landfill? 1 week? 1 month? 1 year? 25 years? I think the answer will surprise you. Why is food waste an important issue to you? Well, 1/3 of all food waste happens in our homes. That's 20 billion pounds of food that's being thrown into the garbage. On average, 40% of the food that you buy, you throw away. That wastes your money and it overfills the landfills. It would actually be preferable to throw your money straight into the recycle bin. At least then we would limit the landfill problem. So what is it that you can do to reduce food waste in your home? The good news is there is a lot that you can do and that it's simple. So my job today is to help you know whether food is still safe to eat and whether you do need to throw it away. And we will do that by talking about label expiration dates, by talking about using the tried and true taste and sniff tests, and we'll talk about the egg test. Let's start with label expiration dates. It may surprise you to learn that they are not established by law, one exception being infant formula. Further, expiration dates are not based on food safety considerations, and expiration dates aren't even consistent. You'll see terms like best if used by, or use by, or sell by, and it matters because 90% of consumers, that means basically all of us, misinterpret label dates and throw out food that is still perfectly safe to eat. Here are 3 examples from my own kitchen to demonstrate the inconsistency in labeling. In general, best if used by and best by are meant to indicate the basic quality of the product, whereas sell by is for the grocer to use for inventory purposes. Now, you absolutely should pay attention to these dates when you're in the grocery store shopping so that you can choose the freshest option and extend maximally your lifespan or the shelf life, of your food at home. Don't use them, however, at home. At home, you should resort to the sniff and taste tests. When you want to determine whether your food is still safe to eat and palatable, you just rely on your senses, not on the date that's on the label. You know this already. You've been doing this your entire life in all likelihood. Simply don't eat food that smells bad, has mold, or has changed color, consistency, or texture. And very frequently you will find that food that seems to be expired based on the date on the label smells and tastes just fine. Now, sometimes you can't sniff and taste before using a particular food, and eggs are a great example of that. So what do we do about eggs? Eggs are a great example of how to reduce food waste because they actually have a surprisingly long shelf life. They're typically good for 4 to 5 weeks beyond the sell date that's listed on the package. So imagine if you blindly threw out your eggs when they still had 4 to 5 weeks of quality and nutritional value just because the label told you to. The problem, however, with eggs is that we can't sniff or taste them without cracking them. So we need a mechanism for determining whether our eggs are good, and that's what is called the egg test, which is on the next slide. Here are two resources for your information, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.